This is Katy, Executive Director of the Cape Cod Blue Economy Foundation, and this is a new episode of our podcast, Coastal Characters, and you know that because you're playing it, so good job. I am here with Margaret McLaughlin, aka Max. Did I say your last name correctly?
You got it right.
Sarah helps. We all know Sarah McLaughlin, so it's a little bit of a cheat. Yeah. I'm also a Kyle McLaughlin fan, so it kind of rolls off the tongue. And Max is one of the chamber writers. Will you tell people what that means first, and then we'll get into your whole backstory?
Sure. The Chamber Writers is a group of 6 individuals who started to meet actually out of the Academy for Lifelong Learning in 2020. However, when COVID came along, we had to meet on Zoom. And after we met in our class with June Callender as our facilitator, we all decided we wanted to continue meeting. And so we have been meeting now for probably 5 or 6 years to write every Friday and discuss whatever we've written. So it's just this wonderful group whose name has just come about because we had to claim one. And we thought, in gratitude to the Chamber, we would call ourselves the Chamber Writers.
It's amazing. So how many of you are there?
Well, now there are 6, one of whom has left to live in Syracuse area, but she is on Zoom often. Excellent. So we're really 5 plus one other.
5 and 1 remote.
Yes.
Right. And so 6 years, and you finally had to claim a name.
Yes.
And why did you have to claim a name?
Because we decided that we were going to actually publish some of our stories. When you think about 6 people writing one story for, I would say, 6 years every Friday, we have over 200 stories. So we decided, why don't we try it and just see?
Amazing. So we have a copy of the book in the office that's been circulating around. It's called Shorelines.
Yes. Stories
from Near and Far, and there's a section near and a section far, which is super cute. How can folks get their hands on this?
Yes. Shorelines Near and Far is the first of our collection that has been posted on Amazon Books.
Okay. Great.
And you can get it under the name of Chamber Writers or under my name, Margaret McLaughlin.
Excellent. Well, we'll put a link
Thank you.
below the show for sure, so people can take a look at it and read some of the stories.
Thank you so much.
So there's a connection, obviously, between the writing, you're doing Shorelines, the Chamber, the Blue Economy Foundation, the water. Let's go back in time, because we've not really talked very much at all. I see you every Friday.
Yes, you do.
We just sort of wave, and then everyone's off to business. But what is your relationship with Cape Cod? Where does it start?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask that.
Yes, of course.
Well, I will admit to my age on air. I'm very proud of it. I'm 75.
Congratulations.
And my very first memory of the Cape was when I was 1.
Wow. A memory of Cape Cod from when you were 1.
Yes.
Amazing.
In Wellfleet. My father was a minister who, as you can imagine, in those days was poorly paid. And one of his parishioners in New Jersey, where he had his church, gave him $100 to take a vacation. Okay. And we came to Cape Cod and stayed at Pine Point Cottages in Wellfleet with Luli and Gus Gustafson. And for 16 years, we returned, and they always only took $100 for the rent.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I fell in love with Cape Cod right from there.
That's
and
beautiful. Subsequent
to that, I would come back when I was a poor graduate student with my then boyfriend, who became my husband, and then we were married in 1984 in Marconi site. Oh. And then I came back to the Cape to work. And we've been here since I retired from the State Department in Washington, D.C. in 2016. So the Cape has always been in my heart. We also went to UMass for graduate school. So Massachusetts has been always in our heart.
Oh, amazing. It sounds like the Cape and its people just opened its arms to you at a very, very early time.
Yes, I think.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think the Cape was a place where, in the 50s and 60s, and then in the 70s and 80s, was a welcoming place to anyone who wanted to adventure into either the arts or nature or just community, small communities. And after my husband and I had been traveling around the world with Peace Corps and with USAID, it was nice to come home, home to a community. So thank you for asking about that, Katy.
Beautiful. So DC was where your career
Yes.
space. Okay. So
Yes.
take us there for a minute. What did you, if we can get into it, what did you do?
Sure. Or what did I try to do?
What did you what were you trying to
What
do
I
in
was trying to
DC?
do. Well,
That sounds like a very decent. Everyone's trying to do
yes.
something.
No, I
Yeah.
think, Katy, you're absolutely right. Well, I was one of those idealistic folks in the 60s who answered the call of JFK to join the Peace Corps. And so I went to Senegal and subsequently then to Jamaica, and then became a staff member for Peace Corps, and stayed in the whole international development arena, moving on to actually the Corporation for National Service AmeriCorps program, where I was the director of recruitment, and then moved into USAID, where I was a senior education officer, and then moved to the State Department, where I was the director of a leadership training division at the Foreign Service Institute. So my whole career has been based on international education, particularly for women and girls.
Very cool.
It was cool.
Can you share an anecdote or a story of someone that, like, you say you were trying to, right?
Yes.
I imagine organizing these programs touched a lot of lives. Is there anyone that comes to mind that you want to share, like, that just made the trying worthwhile?
Sure. Well, indeed, I am on Substack at 10maxer.substack.com, and I write about a woman called Rachel Nidak. And Rachel and I met in Kenya when I was working on a project called Here Sudan, Health Education and Reconstruction in Southern Sudan, which at that time was going through a agreement treaty between the North and the South, and there were tons of wars going on, unfortunately. And Rachel had been a woman whose husband had unfortunately died in a battle. The Sudan People's Liberation Army, he was a commander. And she, at the time he passed, decided that she was going to help widows.
Okay.
And so she ends up starting this group of women that would go into southern Sudan to work with them, to organize them into how they could take control of their own lives. And she tells a story, and I'll start to weep in this podcast. When we were sitting at a table in Nairobi at a friend's house, she told the story of how she had gone up to one of the villages and had to walk for 2 or 3 hours to the village, and it started to be attacked.
Oh, wow.
And she and the women with whom she was meeting fled. And as they fled, they went through various villages, all of which had been attacked and were burning. And at one point she she looked down at the ground, and here was a woman who unfortunately had passed away. And around her were 2 infants.
Oh, my goodness.
And her comrade, her colleague said to her, come, Rachel, you're going to be shot, you're going to be killed, you have to leave them. And so she did. But as she walked away, and she said she went 2 or 3 miles, she realized that she had to go back. Mm-hmm. And so she went back. And as we were sitting at the table, I said to her, well, what happened to those children? And she said, oh, they're my sons now, and they're in college.
Oh, wow.
And as you can see, I sobbed.
Yeah.
And she put her arms around me. And when you think about what Americans do overseas, they do hardly anything in comparison to the people with whom they work.
Yeah.
So that was one person who
That's beautiful.
completely impacted me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and
That's
she still is
amazing.
involved in the government. She's kind of on the outs now because they're having still some conflict. But she was the gender director for the
Wow.
Southern Sudan government.
And that's incredible.
Yeah.
All of her like maternal instincts sort of
Yes.
revved up, right?
Yes.
And put her in that situation.
Yes,
That's amazing.
yes.
Wow. And I really like that statement. You said like the impact comes from the folks that are from that space.
Absolutely.
That in the past at least, and hopefully continuing on through in perpetuity, that there are governments with the ability to organize enough to give those people the tools that they need to save themselves and to bring themselves up and sustain it. Right? That's beautiful.
And Katy, I think it's not that the government bring the tools. I think the people bring the
okay.
tools to the government.
Right. Okay.
You know,
yes, yep, I hear you.
she really was someone who mobilized women whom you would never expect to be mobilized and work, and she did. She just motivated and was wonderful.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you for asking about that.
That's lovely. All right, so let's do a little bit lighter question
Yes.
for you.
Okay.
You've been around the world.
Yes.
Lots of traveling.
Yes.
Favorite dish that you've never been able to replicate yourself?
Oh, that's easy. I would say that there is a Moroccan tagine that is absolutely fabulous. And I was a training director in Morocco with Peace Corps for 6 months in 1985. And we would have these tagines, and I gained a ton of weight. I can tell you that right now. But that is one of the wonderful dishes that I wish everybody could taste.
And the tagine is the vessel that it comes in,
It
right?
is.
The tall lidded
It is.
pot. So
Yes.
it could be lots of different things,
Oh, you're
right?
wonderful, Katy. How you
I
know
watched
this?
a little bit of Anthony Bourdain.
Great.
Or Somebody Feed Phil. One
Good
of those
for you.
two.
Good for you.
But that is, so it can
Yes.
be lots of different kinds
Yes.
of communal dishes,
Yes.
right?
It's usually couscous with vegetables and some kind of lamb or beef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
And
Americans, it's kind of like the culinary equivalent to a Midwest casserole.
yes. Or an Irish stew
Or an
with
Irish
couscous.
Yeah, there we go. So because it can come in lots of different
Yes, it can.
varieties. Oh,
Yes.
that's beautiful.
It is. It is.
Do you have a tagine at home? Have you tried?
No, but I have a pottery that looks like a tagine, but it's never used.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really good. So then sort of connecting the pieces here of all of your travel and your relationships all the way into your creative side.
Yes.
What's the link there? How do we get
Thank
from
you
saving the world to saving the world through your writing and joy?
Oh, thank you so much. When I retired from the State Department in 2016, I wanted to write a book about my father, who was an immigrant from Ireland in the 1918s. And I went to the Library of Congress and I got my little, carrel and my little shelf of books. And I started reading about Irish history in Belfast, particularly Northern Ireland. And I realized that talking about my father wasn't going to be enough.
Okay.
That I really had to write about the history from a long-term perspective. I have relatives that came over from Scotland to Northern Ireland. My grandfather, my grandmother, on my mother's side, believe it or not, and my father also born in Belfast. And then I started to read about women. And I realized that my whole life had been dedicated to women. So where were the Irish women heroes? And how could I write about that? And I never expected to write a book. I never did. I expected just to do something for my family, from the history.
Sure.
And as this writing class with June started at ALL, I started writing chapter by chapter. So it was the whole issue of how do I, in my retirement, when I don't have the work to work with women, I can somehow get the voice out of women. And so I now have 3 books, Beloved Reconciliation, which deals with 3 pieces of the history. And I just published my last one on World War II. And it's just been fabulous to take I was an English teacher at one point, to realize that I can't just retire. I have to rewire.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes.
Okay.
A good friend in graduate school told me, you're not going to retire, you're going to rewire. And I have. So to take that voice of the women with whom I had worked, move them into the literary genre, and to have this support group of 5 to 6 people around me for 5 to 6 years with a chapter every week has enabled me to take that creative piece and do something with it that I hope has purpose.
That's amazing. In your research of your family history, was there anyone that popped out as like, oh, that's where I got that from? Or that person reminded you of any of you or your characteristics? Did anything resonate as like familial in that way? I'm always curious.
Yes, thank you for asking that. I think my grandmother, my maternal grandmother who lived with us, who had met her husband in Belfast and came over first to Canada and then here to the States in the 1900s. When I saw the actual ship log of her and her mother coming here, I started to cry. And I remembered sitting at the table with her. My mom was very active as a minister's wife going out into the community. So my grandmother was really my primary caretaker. Right. And we would have tea in the afternoon. And Katy, she would tell me stories about her life in Belfast and walking along the loch. And she inspired me to have a character look like this. And then when I read about so many women, the Countess Markievicz during the 1916 Easter Uprising, all these heroic women that took on the role of the risk of standing up against the British, those characters started to weave in with my family. Now, the books are not about my family. They're what I would imagine my family to be.
Not directly, right?
No.
Inspired
you know how
by,
you want your hit.
Based on true stories.
Yes, well, it's a historic fiction. And I think what happens most of the time, as my cousin who lives in Belfast said to me, you never knew your relatives. And I said, yeah, but I can make them up. So, Katy, that's what I did.
That's amazing.
Each of the women represents a part of the hope that I had of my ancestors.
That's beautiful. All right, really, really silly little question. See if you remembered. No. Was there milk in the tea that your grandmother made?
Yes.
Did she put the milk in first?
Yes. How did you know that, Katy?
My partner, their father was born in a pub in Dublin. So
I've
got some family ties in Ireland too. It's a funny thing. So for non-tea drinkers, like in America, a lot of people just, because it's coffee primarily, they plop the milk in after or cream. In Ireland, there's two possible reasons why someone puts the milk in first.
Aha, tell me.
One is so that it doesn't stain the china.
Aha.
The second is so that it doesn't scorch the milk.
Oh, my goodness. Isn't that wonderful? Thank you for educating me.
And it's always funny to me how, and it's a very different, so in England in particular, it's a mix. But in Ireland, in Northern and the Republic of Ireland, it seems pretty consistently you put the milk in first.
Yes.
So this is very like inside baseball, Katy's head.
I love it. Oh, well, you're educating me. Thank you.
But it's just a quirky little detail that I'm always curious, like serving everyone. So
thank you.
Yeah. So milk in first is my way to go about tea too. I think it tastes better. But it's funny because one of my partner's aunts said that we always put the milk in first so we don't stain the china.
I love that.
Like it doesn't. It's not in there long enough to stain it, but okay.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Yes, whatever you say, Auntie.
Oh, I love that.
Funny.
Wonderful.
So the other pieces of it sounds like we could probably actually talk for a long time, and I could learn a million things about all these different sort of parts of your life, which we're definitely gonna have you on again, I think. But I want to know a little bit more about your process and your connection to like how does. So you taught English, you've been a communicator and an organizer and educator. The process of writing seems like something that, I don't want to say it's not a struggle, but it seems like something that came to you a little bit. Like it was a more organic space to enter into versus film or songs or painting or
right.
Whatever.
Well, and that's an excellent question. Thank you. I think the organic piece of it was that I was always a reader.
Okay.
Always a reader. I remember as a child going to the library. And when we were in Wellfleet, we would always go to the Wellfleet Public Library. So for 16 summers, I read, so much.
Yeah.
And then when I went to college, I minored in English and started to write there and had some incredible individuals critiquing my writing. And then when I went into Peace Corps right after college, I wrote letters. Mm-hmm. That was the era from 1971 to 73 that you had the envelopes that you folded and mailed, the airmail envelopes, and you just wrote up the whole story of what was going on with you. So I was always writing, and then when I ended up in Peace Corps as a staff member and then subsequently in the other federal agencies, I always had to write reports, and it kind of took away the creativity. Yeah. And it was very functional because I learned to be succinct, which I am not now in my writing.
No need to be.
No. But I think in coming to the Cape and retiring and realizing that at ALL, which was really the catalyst for this, I started in a poetry class there and then moved into the short story class. I was able to take the time to write. I also think, and this is an aside, I do life coaching at the Barnstable County Correctional Facility with women.
Yeah.
And the stories that they tell about their lives has just embellished my creativity, although I'll never write about them because I don't want to be in any way violation of their confidentiality. But there's just so much that needs to be said about women these days. And as much as we have the audio podcasts, which are wonderful, and I'm so grateful you have me on, and we have TikTok and we have Instagram, there's something about being able to write it down for ancestry and legacy and all of that that will stay, that people can go back to again and again and read about themselves. So the creative process to me was just natural. It was a natural flow. Thank you for asking.
I like that idea of writing being a more permanent or it's got more longevity, right? It's got a longer history. It's got a longer future, kind of.
Yes,
yeah,
yes. And Katy, I think there's something too, and I don't want to get too pontifical.
Go for it.
Okay, thank you. But in learning English, to write, you start with the reading with infants. And in my graduate program at SUNY Albany, I was in the teacher corps at the time, and we were learning new mechanisms to teach. And one of the reading teachers, I'll never forget, said, "A child on a lap of a mother or father reading a book will be the best education that child can have for the rest of her or his life." That the love you have being embraced by a parent while reading transfers to the love of reading.
Yeah.
And I just thought, wow, that is phenomenal. And so the progression of early childhood development and reading, moving into high school, it's a phenomenal gift, I think, to young people, as well as middle-aged adults and seniors.
Yeah, there's that, just the way you've described that like warm safety of being able, like safety and exploring at the same time, right? Like reading stories of adventure while in the comfort and warmth of your parents' beating heart.
That's right.
That's really, really beautiful.
That's right, Katy.
Yeah.
That is right.
And we do know that there's so much worthy investment in the first 18 months of life that has economic and emotional and intellectual and societal benefits throughout life, which is really important. And reading is a beautiful way throughout time, as far as I know, that like, telling stories has been a part of that.
Yes. So. Well, in international education, too, the whole factor of young people out in the bush having a book to hear about a new world that they would probably never experience for their first 10 years. And to be able to talk to them about what might you imagine, about a satellite, about a car, about this or that. It really is opening our own American children, but other children, to a world where they can do whatever they want to do if they can.
Yeah, and here's a really interesting thing you just reminded me of, too. Having nieces growing up in England, now we're starting to get some crossover with some television because of YouTube, but children's books, like the popular, reoccurring, generation after generation children's stories from continent to continent, from country to country, are so different.
Yes.
They don't, like, I grew up on Dr. Seuss, Bill Pete, the Little Hedgehog family.
Yes.
Grover.
Yes.
But my partner grew up in England, and I think the only crossover maybe was Winnie the Pooh.
Yes.
Everything else was so different.
Yes.
Maybe a Christmas story or two about the snowman and the red scarf. But like there's really different literature for young people. So the fact that you could share it internationally is so cool.
Yes.
It's extraordinary.
It is. And Katy, the difference may be in the authors and the characters, but the morality and the values being taught are similar across. I worked with a group in Iraq that was looking at children's education through video. And it was kind of taking Dr. Seuss and making it into a Muslim orientation. But the values were the same, and I shouldn't say but, and the values were the same despite the characters being Muslim-oriented or Arab-oriented. And it was just exquisite to see across the various cultures how so many common values can be taught through different characters and different plots.
That's so good. I love that. Yeah, that's so interesting. And I love going into children's book sections in different places, even different parts of the country.
Yes.
It's different, because I'm very New England. And so like Bill Peet is being a New England author.
Yes.
I don't meet a lot of people outside of my age group or above or from this place, like south of Connecticut. I don't know anybody that grew up with Bill Peet. It's very strange. So shout out to Bill Peet fans out there, because like absolutely gorgeous illustrations and really, really beautiful stories about it's okay to be different.
Yes, lovely. Keep reading.
Keep reading. And so let's talk about maybe one or two of your favorite inspiring authors or creators that because you read a lot.
Yes, I do.
Are there a couple that, like, a new book's come out, you got to grab it? Or is there one that you've gone back to? And here's one that I like, if this is easier. What author have you read over and over again?
Yes. Well, I am a traditional reader, classical reader, in the sense that, the Bronte sisters, coming from a woman's perspective, Alcott, Emily Dickinson. I do. I read a lot of, what would I say, more mysteries.
Okay.
Yeah, in that I think the genre of mystery writing is something that involves people thinking out of the box. And I think while we need to read historic, nonfiction, I think we're bombarded by that on the radio and the TV and podcasts. And I think we have to open ourselves up to the imagination. Right now I've just finished a book, I'm reading Fair Play by Isabella Haggerty. And it is a mystery, but she goes back and forth in time. And I'm not quite sure if I get it yet.
Oh, okay.
So I'm very interested in how do people write nowadays to enable one to be creative and think out of the box. Our chamber writers have discussions all the time, Katy, about whether or not you explain or describe such that the reader can envision and take the meaning him or herself. And I'm of the ilk that any book that you read is a good book if you think differently at the end or if you think about something differently. So I, as I just said, unfortunately go back to the classics because every time I read those books again and again and again, particularly by women, I keep thinking about what were they experiencing in their own lives as they wrote about these men coming into their lives, their friendships with other women, the social classes, the conflicts that were going on in the families. Those themes are still relevant. So those are the books that I read a lot.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Can you describe the difference or explain the difference between describe and explain?
Yes. Okay.
What's the difference between describe? I just realized as I was asking that question that I was
Sure. No, absolutely. It would be something like he entered the room with a frown on his face and, a very garrulous voice, as opposed to he entered. That would be describing what he's doing. And you could also say he entered the room facing this conflict. And you have to sit there and go, now, wait, how can I explain what someone looks like with a face in conflict? Or what is he thinking? What is he doing, et cetera? So I think we try to describe a setting and rather than explaining exactly what it is. And I may not have been clear in explaining that.
It's I think for readers they would understand you completely.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And for writers certainly.
And if you look at a painting,
Okay.
Okay, the painting is in front of you. You can describe exactly what's in the painting.
Sure.
But what was the meaning
And what were the
behind that
feelings?
painting?
Sure.
What were the feelings of the painter? What are your feelings watching that? And I think sometimes we, the term is mansplain. It's got to have exactly the truth.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's helping our society right now. I think we need to look at all sides and all ways of interpreting something. That's not to say that there isn't a consummate truth regarding certain values, but I think there is a opening up to other people's points of view in how they interpret a written word.
Yeah.
What is democracy? We can describe it 1,000 ways, but what is its
podcast,
meaning?
but definitely.
What is conflict resolution? What is reconciliation? I think there is a opportunity lost if we don't really delve into the meaning of certain words rather than just say, this is what it says.
And I think it does, I completely agree with you, spot on. And I think it is really beneficial, and I think this is what a lot of students get, is delving into the word.
Yes.
And all of its history and all of its implications, and it unlocks different parts of your memory.
That's right.
And your understanding and your comprehension, your empathy.
That's right.
For sure.
That's right.
And I love that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's why I read poetry, because you get to see words in different places from normal.
Yes.
Is it for the sound, or is it for the space, the way it sits on the page, or is it for the meaning? And you can kind of mess around in all the different possible ways.
Yes.
And that's why I particularly like short poems.
Yes.
Because they have to be so precise.
Yes.
And that's exactly what you're saying, right?
Yes.
It's like you can see, it's shaped like a butterfly.
Yes.
Okay, but what is it saying and doing to you? That's why is it a butterfly?
Yes.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And what does it mean to you?
Yeah.
As the reader of that poem?
What's your engagement with
exactly.
it? Yeah.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Exactly.
Oh, I love this.
Oh,
so
good. Good.
So a couple of we'll sort of wrap this up, but I definitely want to have you back when you finish your book so you can give us a full review. But we'll put a link to your Substack. We'll put a link to Shorelines.
Thank you
for
so
people
much.
to find.
Thank you.
I ask everybody one of two questions.
I know which one's coming.
Oh, you do?
Yes, the ice cream question, right?
I teased you with it, yes. Because Max asked me, what are we going to talk about? And I said, you. What? Your favorite ice cream. So what is your go-to ice cream order?
Oh, you are so delightful. Well, I had to think about this because I'm vegan now.
Oh, congratulations.
After COVID. No. It's terribly boring. I'm sorry.
I'm conveniently vegan.
Oh,
I won't turn down a chocolate chip cookie, so I have to sometimes have some egg or dairy. But there's options out there.
I know, but I haven't found them. So if you can tell me later, tell me. But nonetheless, I did think about this, and I love Sweet Caroline's on Route 130. And I used to.
Is it in Sandwich or Mashpee?
It's actually Forestdale.
It's in Forestdale.
It's in Forestdale. Yeah. And I used to I'm very, unfortunately, very traditional. I used to love their vanilla ice cream. And then I would come home and I would put some syrup and blueberries and strawberries on it. But I love Sweet Caroline's. It's just an absolutely fabulous place, and the ice cream was just great.
So they'd have to up their vegan game, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, but I think Smitty's has taken them over, so we'll have to see.
All right. I know Polar Cave have some, Cape Cod Creamery have some.
Oh, thank you.
You got you, girl. But yeah, the vegan thing, was there a reason? Can I just
Sure. I think as I was writing, I was thinking, is this enough? And one of the women in our short story class, Sheila Place, is a true environmentalist. And I would hear her talk about what her work was with the UUC on environmental issues. And I thought, what am I doing on the environment? I was doing nothing. I was just not eating very well from an environmentalist point of view. And then when COVID came along, I said, well, I might as well try this. Great. And good friends were vegans, and I did. Now, I will tell you, it's been a bit hard with my husband, who is definitely into chicken, fish, and meat. And so he's had to adjust, God bless him. But the first was definitely from an environmental point of view. And then I love it, actually, despite being bored by some of the recipes. Sure. I will tell you that. I'm not a very good cook. But I think it has made me feel healthier, too.
Nice. Yeah.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, we did. My partner went in for the environmental reasons first as well, starting with choice of milk.
Yes.
Researching which kind of milk uses the least amount of water. So that's another podcast we could do together.
Yes, definitely.
All right, so we're doing vegan ice cream. We're classic vanilla. Sneak it home and put a bunch of stuff on it.
Yes.
Love that. Awesome. All right. Anything else you want to share with people before we wrap up? Any little tidbits, maybe a little piece of advice for someone that is thinking about the Cape or thinking about writing or thinking about Peace Corps or AmeriCorps?
Oh, there's just so much. I would say, and I come to it from a life coaching perspective, go for where you're happy. Go for where you're happy. What would make you happy, and where on the Cape can you find that happiness?
Oh, that's beautiful.
And then secondly, how can that happiness help others?
That resonates with me.
Yeah, where can you, on the Cape, particularly we who are retired, you know, we've had our wonderful lives elsewhere. We fortunately are here in the most beautiful place in the world, and I swear to God, my favorite city in the whole world, and it's not even a city, is Provincetown. And I've been all over the world in these fabulous places, very exotic. But how can you be happy and help others?
Yeah, and that's where you get your work with the Sheriff's Department.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
that's beautiful.
Absolutely,
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Max.
Oh, thank you, Katy, for this opportunity.
Joy.
Yeah, joy it was.